So I've been playing through Sonic Adventure 2 on my 35XX SP, and I really didn't think that using a D-pad instead of an analog stick was going to be a big deal, but it actually does make the game way harder to control. Sonic doesn't move straight. He moves a little to the left. Refining the movements is really hard. You have to kind of tap your way over to the angle you want. It's a clunky mess. But so is Sonic Adventure 2, so it's okay. Anbernic just loves their H700 CPU and their new-ish Linux firmware. There are now a litany of devices in their XX series that use this same exact architecture. The only difference is really their configuration. The best one is the 35XX SP because of the clamshell form factor. I wouldn't consider myself a clamshell guy, but the convenience of being able to just close the lid, put it to sleep, and throw it in your pocket or just throw it in your bag without having to worry about putting it in a case or breaking the screen or anything is a really nice feature. My biggest gripe with it is having the ability to play 3D games, but not having the ability to control those 3D games with a thumbstick. But don't you worry. Anbernic has released yet another device with the same exact architecture, but this time, it's got a thumbstick. Wow. This is the RG40XX V. The V stands for vertical. Usually I'd like a nice vertical console. I like the original Game Boy form factor, but that already exists in the same platform with the same internal. And it's been out for a while. The big difference here is the screen. It's 4 inches instead of 3.5, which I've learned since my last video is why it's called the 35XX and the 40XX. That's the screen size. It must be really hard to name tech products because everyone sucks at it. The other big difference is the singular thumbstick, which is very nice to have for some of these 3D games, or it would be if it worked the way a thumbstick should work. It does not. What is the point of this one? I really don't understand how they keep releasing these. I think they struck gold with this architecture that they have. I do like the XX series. I just wish they would slow down. Only release these things when they're significantly different from each other. Maybe QA test them a little bit more. Although the problems with this are so glaringly obvious, I don't even think a QA test is necessary. Quality is better than quantity, right? How many of these do we need? Especially when we already have a vertical one that I like better. This video is sponsored by Delete Me. You know, Mr. Wulff, I have to say I'm pretty impressed by this resume.
Oh my god, thank you so much.
But one thing we did find when we were doing the background check was your fan page of Conker's Bad Fur Day from 2001.
Oh, okay, well, is there a problem with that?
Oh no, it's not a problem at all. But in 2012, we found your Tumblr page with fan fiction of the flower of Conker's Bad Fur Day. And then in 2013, you wrote more fan fiction of the sunflower. And then in 2015, you had 2 different posts about the sunflower. And then in 2016,
I'm not sure what you're talking. I don't have any recollection of that.
It's not mine. It couldn't be mine. Did you know that your personal data is sold online by data brokers? Anyone can buy your personal details and do whatever they want with them. Nobody is stopping them. They could steal your identity, dox you, scam you. Delete Me experts scour the internet for your sensitive information and remove it for you. You can start seeing the effects of this removal in just 7 days. And they'll continue to scan all year to keep your private info private. I have had some of my personal info leak in the past, so I'm hoping to use Delete Me to help prevent people from sending me pizzas to my house again. And so far it's working. Get 20% off of Delete Me consumer plans by going to joindeleteme.com/Wulff20 and use promo code Wulff20 at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/Wulff20. Use promo code Wulff20 to get 20% off. And then after 2016, 2017, there was, I can't seem to find any of it anymore.
Yes, as I was saying, I don't have any recollection of these posts you speak of.
Oh, well, I'm very sorry about this. I guess we're gonna have to pass.
Huh? Wait, why?
Well, here at Voluptuous Sunflower Inc., we're really looking for a passionate candidate.
What? It was a good thing? It was me, I did it. I'm the one who did all the posting on the Tumblr. I did the horny posting. I didn't want to call it that in a professional environment. It was me, I did that.
All right, bro, now you're being weird. You know what's weirder than making those posts online is pretending like you made those posts online. Oh, did you want this conference room? I got another meeting at 3:30 with your mom! His mom actually does work here, though. She's been great. She loves sunflowers. This plays everything that the other XX devices play, Game Boy and NES, all the way up to N64, Dreamcast, and some PSP games. Not many though. The performance of these devices and how it plays all of these different systems is getting boring to talk about because they're all the same. If you're interested in that at all, just go watch my 35XX SP video. That's a much better device anyway. If you're interested in this particular device, you're probably interested in it because of the ergonomics or the form factor. It is a very pretty device, I'll give it that. It feels a bit cheap, unfortunately. It's deceptively light. I guess that makes sense because it's big, but the internals are the exact same as the other devices. Fortunately, it's comfortable. The buttons feel pretty good. I hear a lot of praise for this D-pad in particular. I actually really like Anbernic's D-pads. They usually nail the design of those. Although, there are some XX devices, like the 35XX Plus, that is prone to misinputs on the D-pad. The 35XX SP has a very, very clicky D-pad, and some people don't like that, but I like it. The D-pad on this V device feels kind of similar to the other Anbernic D-pads. Maybe it's a bit softer, less stiff. It feels fine, but I wouldn't say it's a massive improvement. I don't know where everybody's getting that. However, it looks like it isn't gonna misinput the same way as some of the other Anbernic D-pads, so I guess that's the improvement. Now that all of that's out of the way, let's talk about this terrible thumbstick for the whole rest of the video. Don't look at the playhead. There is a lot more of the video to go. Physically, it's fine. It's the same Nintendo Switch style thumbstick that all these Chinese manufacturers have been using. Will it drift? Probably eventually. That doesn't concern me though. I'm not gonna be using this thing like I would a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. I'm probably not gonna be using that thumbstick all that much comparatively. The issue is that it snaps to cardinal directions. What the f***? What is the point of that? The first thing I did was boot up Sonic Adventure 2 because that was what I was most excited to play on here. I was playing it on my SP and I missed having a thumbstick. This is the same device as the SP, but it has a thumbstick. So it should fix that for me, right? Well, Sonic still doesn't feel like he's moving right. At least with a thumbstick, you can like walk if you need to. You aren't full sending it with each direction you press, but that's not enough. I need to be able to move in any direction that I want. It feels so weird to have to correct my angle in this way.
I want to get on this rail. I should just have to hold straight, right? But if you hold straight, he doesn't go exactly straight. He's going a little to the left. So I have to hit right a couple times. I have to like tweak right. Because I can't just go a little bit diagonal to the right. It's literally the same as having a D-pad. The only difference is I can walk if I want to.
You know, if I didn't have this problem with the SP, I probably wouldn't have even noticed that this thumbstick was so bad. I probably would have just chalked it up to Sonic Adventure 2 being jank. Just to really make sure that I wasn't crazy, I went to the controller tester on the device, and that only has 8 cardinal directions. You can't really test the thumbstick with that. So I found a controller testing ROM for N64 over on GitHub. It's called Mimi. I'll link it in the description below. It's pretty cool. And this proves that the 40XX V's thumbstick only snaps to cardinal directions, with very minor leeway on the diagonals. For comparison, this is what it looks like if I were using an Xbox controller. Still not perfect, but hey, at least I can move the cursor wherever I want. On the V, Mario snaps to cardinal directions too. In fact, every 3D game that you will play will snap to these cardinal directions. What is the point of this? What is the point of releasing a whole new device? I guess it's to add one little thing. But that one little thing doesn't f***ing work right. So what was the point of releasing a whole new device? I need Anbernic to take a step back and ask themselves why first, before releasing a whole goddamn device. The whole reason people are going to want this is for that little guy, because it's the only thing that's different. I guess, what, a 0.5 inch bigger screen? Is that really going to move units? This is something that could be fixed in a firmware update, and I look forward to that. Hopefully they're working on it. Homebrew devs are working on a fix for this, but there is currently no custom firmware that has a fix for this thumbstick right now. And really, it shouldn't be up to custom firmware devs. It should work when it's shipped. It should be obvious by now that you shouldn't buy this. I can't see anybody wanting this for any reason other than the thumbstick. Maybe you really like the D-pad that people were ranting and raving about, but it's like marginally better. If you like the form factor, the 35XX Plus is great. The D-pad is mostly great. If the misinputs are a problem for you, there are fixes for that. Supposedly, newer versions have a hardware fix, but I don't really trust that. I still think the SP is the best of the bunch. The clamshell is definitely worth it, and the buttons are nice and clicky. I do like clicky. If you absolutely need a thumbstick, there are a bunch of options. Honestly, I never made a video on this, but the Powkiddy RGB30 is awesome. I usually don't even like Powkiddy devices, but this one is pretty great. The thumbstick is pretty great. It's not the most accurate, but it does allow for refined movements and even reaches all of the corners of the N64's stick gate. It can play pretty much all the same stuff as the 40XX V, although some emulation quality like DS might be slightly worse, but it's a little cheaper than the 40XX V and a lot of the other XX devices. And the thumbstick works like it should. The square screen is actually surprisingly nice for a lot of games. It looks best for Game Boy games and some vertical arcade games, but Dreamcast looks fine on it too. And look, Sonic moves the way he should. Even Anbernic has gotten thumbsticks right before. One of the first devices that I ever got from Anbernic was the 351V. The V stands for vertical. This also allows for more refined movements than just the cardinal directions. This device is the predecessor to the newer 40XXV that we're talking about in this video. N64 emulation is pretty bad. It couldn't even run the controller tester ROM, but at least they got the thumbstick right. Look, Mario moves just fine, so we know that Anbernic's capable of it. I don't have an Anbernic RG40XX V, probably because when it came out, it looked unremarkable to me. But that has two thumbsticks, and I'd venture to guess that that thumbstick probably works just fine. Something must have happened recently with Anbernic, because the 40XXH, which is in the same family as the 40XXV, has some pretty bad cardinal direction snapping too with the thumbstick. I'd say to avoid that one too if you really want a thumbstick. There's just too goddamn many of these devices. And you know what? Usually these videos are interesting because each one does one thing a little and some other things really nice. And it makes those devices exciting and it makes it interesting to see all these different videos, which one does this the best. But this is getting absolutely ridiculous. I'm really trying to do my best, and I'm gonna try a lot harder now to only make these videos when there's a device that's new and exciting. The problem here was that I thought this was going to be new and exciting, and I already started making the video, so I need to try a little harder to have some foresight. I think I'm just gonna trust them a little less when they release a new device that looks nice. I wonder what Anbernic's gonna do when we all get burnt out on these XX devices, because that's me right now. I'm burnt out on these devices. The SP was exciting, but imagine if like the hinge just didn't work on that, because that's where we're at with this. The one thing that makes this different just does not work. This should absolutely make you think twice before getting an Anbernic console. It's gonna make me think twice before wanting to even review one. So what do you guys think about the RG40XX V or just the litany of Anbernic consoles that have been releasing and other emulation hardware? Leave it in the comments below, add me on Twitter, any and all of this other social media garbage. The best place to reach me is probably twitch.tv/wolfden. I'll be live, you can just chat right there with me. Thank you, Delete Me, for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to check them out at the link in the description. But of course, the most important thing you can do to help support this channel is subscribe right here, turn on notifications so you'll know when the videos go live, and share this video with a friend who is overwhelmed by all of these devices releasing and can't figure out which one to get. Thank you very much. Have yourself a good week.